It's the duo that you love the most, covering events from coast to coast. That podcast is all about the fun with your hosts, L.Piddy and Jon Jon. Chirping about gossip like chickadees. Turn up the cast and enjoy the tea. The podcast with the beauty and the brawn. One's a gay turkey and the other is a black swan. It's that podcast. It's that podcast. It's that podcast. Live from the Jon Jon and Company studio in Denver, Colorado, it's That Podcast. And now, here are your hosts, L.Piddy and Jon Jon.
Hey, what?
What?
What's up, y'all? I'm Jon Jon.
I'm L.Piddy.
And this hashtag, That Podcast. Nailed it. Order is up. L.Piddy, welcome to our show.
Welcome to our show.
Welcome to our show, because it's our show and not yours.
Real quick, who do you think between the both of us, who would be Trixie and who would be Katya?
Oh, I feel like you would absolutely be Trixie. I feel like I'm a train wreck to be Katya.
Okay.
In some moments. What about you? What do you think?
You know, I feel like I see myself in both of them, but I think I would be Trixie, to be honest with you.
Work.
Like, I just feel like Katya is like super, even though she's crazy, she's super congenial. Like, she won Miss Congeniality. So, like,
girl, that's true.
A great personality. She has an open mind, and she's just, woo, I don't know.
Woo! Yeah, no, I love Katya Zamo. And she's so charming. She's so funny. And I like that, because similar to like how my brain sometimes operates, like she says stuff, you're like, where in the world did that come from?
And then there's me, who, like, it takes a minute to process too, and I know that Trixie does the same thing as well. Like, oh, just figured out what you said. Yep. So,
like, I laughed at that. I shouldn't have laughed at that. Yes. So yeah, L.Piddy, so we're back for another episode. It always feels so good to reunite with you, gal.
Right? It's so exciting. Like, I did not miss this at all.
No.
We missed it a little bit, but somehow it was still on time tonight.
Girl, you did. You were in the midst of a ton, which we'll get into a little bit later. But girl, especially during quarantine, and now we live states away from one another. It's so nice to like reconnect with people on like Zoom, Marco Polo, FaceTime. Right? It's like the new normal now.
Exactly. I keep forgetting about Marco Polo. Sorry.
That was me just being totally passive aggressive. I'm like, and Marco Polo, bitch.
Like, what's that? Oh shit.
No, it's exactly. You introduced me. Our good Judy Sam is on it. Of course, my boo thing, Ryan, my good Judy, whole bunch of people are on it. And basically, what it is, it's like text chat. It's like a Snapchat text hybrid.
Walkie-talkies almost. Well, it's Marco Polo.
Marco. Girl, I've been yelling Marco for a couple months now. I'm like, bitch, somebody say Polo. That's funny. No, and now that you say that, I actually love that, because you're right. It's walkie-talkies. Like, it's like, bloop, bloop, where you at?
Right. Hello, Moto.
Thank you. Hello, Moto. Girl, we were talking, what was, this is not on our topic or agenda today at all, but before we get into the show, what was your very first cell phone or your favorite cell phone that you remember?
Very first, okay, here's the thing. Any of the cell phones that, like, I didn't do, like, the lease program, I still have.
Girl, I know. I remember this box when we were moving.
It might be right next to me right now. Let me see.
Girl, she about to pull out a fucking... Girl, how do you got a box of electronics next to you?
We will talk about it later. You know exactly why.
Okay, here. Let me say a phone model, and you tell me if you have it next to you.
Okay.
A Nokia.
Potentially. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay. She has showed us a Nokia. If you guys are listening on audio podcasting platforms, please join us on our YouTube channel, where you can see L.Piddy legit just pulled out a fucking Nokia phone from her right side.
Technically, this was my very first phone, but this was actually my mom's phone, and she gave it to me well, this is going to be kind of sad. So this was a year after Columbine happened. So she's like, take a phone with me just in case, you know, really getting to those lockdown drills and shit like that. So
yeah.
There's that one.
Girl, orders up. I actually didn't mean to hit the bell, but
But my official first phone that I got for my 14th birthday, which, yeah, we're not going to go into like super morbid stuff and depressing stuff, but this is it. It's an Audio Vox. Had a little
Audio Vox. Oh, stop it!
now,
Excellent.
and I would text my boyfriend, my first love, all the time.
Girl, remember when we had to text and you had to like press the button 3 or 4 times?
T9.
T9, mama.
I'm so
Girl.
smart using T9 for some reason. Like I was like, I'm a pro at this. Don't worry about it.
Girl, and it's true. It took talent because like some people couldn't do it. Like it.
Yeah.
I remember we were in that shit.
We didn't have correct back then.
Nah, I don't think so.
It was all on us. So if there was something misspelled, it's because we didn't know.
For real. It's like, girl. Or because you click the 5 twice instead of 3 times.
Exactly.
It's like, girl.
Oh, I gotta start over. I do have a favorite, and I have 2 of the same phones too, because one of them I've dropped in water. This is a flip phone.
Ooh,
is,
I've not seen this model before.
LG, I forgot, it wasn't the chocolate, but it was something different. But like you could change the pink. I changed a bunch, but it was a flip phone. This phone was great. And then like you put a little picture in this little display too.
Oh yes, was it a color picture or was it like a green
picture?
Oh yeah. Bitch, yes. All right. We're switching gears from cell phones. Do you have an iPod in there somewhere?
I do.
Show the team. Show the team.
I think it's a 3rd generation. If not, it's here. It is. Like
shut up.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like I use it a lot more, but like the headphones port is not working too well. So we're just gonna.
She just pulled out a Nokia, a fucking LG flip phone, and a motherfucking iPod.
Yes,
that is funny stuff.
Yeah. So,
now the iPod is it a touchscreen iPod or is it like the ones that had the
it was an iPod
the
touch.
buttons?
I never had the button one. So
oh girl, I had that the black one with the buttons. Oh,
I wasn't that cool yet. So but then
like
go ahead.
No, and then the Nano. I had a little Nano.
Ooh, the Nano.
Yeah, I felt so having the Nano though. I actually got a Nano because a friend of mine gave it to me. He like upgraded and it was like, I'm gonna throw it away. I'm like, no, give me your stupid pink Nano.
Exactly. I want that from you then.
I want it.
Oh, I just realized something else that I have in here that would be a hoot to bring out.
She's like, my original rotary phone.
I did. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, it's right here. This is my very first portable CD player, and I put like labels on it.
Wait, what does the label say?
It says my name. It has like different like Sailor Moon nicknames and stuff like that. But
what's in there now? What? That's what I call Music 5.
I have that CD somewhere.
Stop it! Stop it! This must end.
So I kept this for a specific reason. I tried to go get this fixed because this was my favorite one. This was the best CD player I've had, even after I bought more after this. So
girl, that is hilarious. No, our good Judy, I'm not going to name her name, but a good Judy of you and I has a very similar box of old electronics.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she is living right now listening to this.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I didn't mean to like keep old electronics in it. It's more so for cables. But I've used them. Like, that's why the box is actually here, because I needed to find like my.
You needed a Nokia to play Snake last night.
Exactly. Like, but I needed to like have a lapel mic and then like see if I could connect it a different way to my phone, which I couldn't, and then I didn't even use it, but I have it.
But she's got it. No, there is some comfort. I mean, I think you understand my attachment to things as well. I think it's nice to have things, right? Like it's nice to go back and be able to pull on it, even if you don't need it. And yes, that's a bit of a hoarder's mentality, but.
So you have an impressive collection, though, of merch.
I have a lot of shit. The one thing I will tell you is I've organized the hell out of my shit.
This is true. Yes.
So my storage unit, for those of you who are new either to the podcast or me, I have a giant storage unit that's like a warehouse. I have bookshelves lined both sides, like garage shelves, and everything's beautifully organized. And I got to tell you, I love, like, I needed my fake fur coat from Spirit Hoods, that really wonderful coat, and then a little trench coat for the show that we'll get into a little bit later. But it was so nice to be able to like go to my storage unit, open that bitch up, go to the clothing rack, and pull out what I needed, when I need it.
It's so wild that you have a storage unit and you have to go drive to it. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I'm not to that point yet. Like, the only thing in my storage right now is just boxes, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to move one day. Let me save these boxes.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, and then of course I don't put anything else in there because I have 2 bedrooms. So.
See, that would be good. See, rent is so high in Denver that I have no choice but to have a storage unit. I would love a garage, and we'll get there, right? But no, it is kind of a trip. I was sharing with one of my good Judies. I said, it's kind of funny. I'm like going to my storage unit to go shopping today. Like, like I'm heading there to the store today to get some clothes. But again, you don't really need the winter clothes, and the reason I need it is because, girl, it started snowing like crazy up in Colorado.
That's right. I actually got a message from the CEO of my company, and he sent me a screenshot that it was 12 degrees this morning.
Girl, it was so cold.
And I was like, it's cold here too. It's like 68.
Girl, bye.
So nice. I'm in shorts. It's so great. I'm in a short sleeve shirt. Like, and then apparently though, it's supposed to be in the 60s next week, like starting tomorrow. So we'll see.
Girl. And that's going to be cold for you, I'm sure. You're going to be like, boo.
Right, so cold.
You're going to put some Uggs on.
I think I'm going to look real weird going to the pool, and everybody's like, it is so cold out. What are you doing?
The pool, for real. Yeah, girl, that's pool weather for sure.
Thank you.
You're like, hello. Get pina colada over there.
Right.
For real. No, 60s, 70s from Colorado is like a beautiful day. I mean,
exactly.
We do get hot, and we've had a hot summer, but nothing like Arizona. No, ma'am.
Right. I mean, we did have some days where we were 115 and above, so it's
no.
Yeah, it's a no. It's fine if you have your AC running and it doesn't break down, but that's a whole different story. I mean, it's working fine now, but it is, if you go outside, like, you instantly start sweating. Like, you
see, that's kind of good for like health and weight loss,
right?
But from a comfort and looking good, that's how I'm doing it. Is the Arizona heat wave?
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's wild. That kind of heat is crazy to me. You know, because I don't ever feel like you can ever like feel showered and good. Like you shower and then it's like, girl, I'm back to sweating.
Right. As long as you get into your car real quick and with your AC, like, honestly, after 5 minutes, that's when you start sweating. So, like,
is that right?
I don't do stuff outside.
Girl, ditto. Girl, even in good weather, it's like, why? Especially now. I mean, now we have a good reason. We're like,
Yeah. COVID.
A fucking pandemic. Yeah. Hey, L.Piddy, did you vote already?
You know what? I did. I was so
excited.
Yeah.
I voted too. Thank you for asking. Go us. The audience loves that. Of course, if you guys are loyal listeners to us or viewers now that we have a YouTube channel, I want to tell you that the YouTube channel is actually the only reason I'm showered today.
Oh, is that why we shower now?
Yeah, that's just so you know. Sometimes it's suggestible.
I mean, I did, like, after I was like officially done with this damn movie, which we will talk about here in a few, I like threw on this shirt because I was not wearing clothes earlier.
Girl, it's Arizona.
We're not the same Colorado, let's just be real. So I went and like curled my hair a little bit, like, it's not all curled in the back, and then I put on my eyebrows kind of, and eyeliner and mascara, and
Oh, work. Yes, I showered. I got a bucket of dye ready. I dyed this shirt. I dried this shirt with a hair dryer. I put an emblem on it, and then no, I'm just kidding. None of that happened today. No, I literally just showered. No, today was my big household chore day. Like, so truth be known, we're posting this on a Monday, but we recorded it actually on a Sunday.
And like, you guys are about to see me do something behind the scenes, what we're going to talk about here in a few. So
we're going to introduce you to Lori's OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
That
joke keeps coming up, like, between me and my coworkers too. We're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just all have OnlyFans. Why not?
Girl, that's just it. I mean, but I got to tell you, the thought sounds really good. But like, you know what it feels like when someone like you post something on Instagram and like no one likes it, or like you post a tweet and you're like no one sees it. Girl, if you post your dick up on a website and nobody likes it, like
So much.
I mean, it hurts me just thinking about it. I'm like, my poor dick. I'm sorry. I don't know why they don't love you like I love you.
My heart. Like I can't.
No.
What? Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or like scrolling past it, you're like, oh my goodness. And then what do you need? Like, what do you have to do with it to capture people's attention? You know?
Like, what if somebody comes back and is like, "What is wrong with it?"
What is what is it ill? No, it's just wearing a top hat.
Color is
Exactly. So yeah, no, I think voting's important for those of you guys listening, of course, and viewing. Make sure that you guys vote. It is so important in this election more than ever.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends to
That's right.
vote. Yes, that's the first thing I did once I dropped off my ballot. I just yelled during our stand-up meetings, "Hey guys, did you vote? I voted today. Look at my sticker. You better vote." And then I would keep reminding them throughout the week. So.
Yep. No, it's so good to vote, and it's really interesting. So much of the country has already turned in their early voting, and a lot of my friends I've talked to have done it as well. So I'm really proud of my friends and all of our listeners for doing the damn thing.
Right. Exactly.
Shoot.
Now, real quick, I do need to, I got to be this person. So, you know how people are like, I'm an adult. I respect everybody's like who they vote for and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. I am like that if it's a respectable post. I am not like that when somebody's like just saying dumb stuff to support their candidate. And I don't need him in my life. I don't need you in my life who has been cheated on twice and just airing your business out like crazy. So I'm going to unfriend you.
Yep, exactly.
I do not care. Do not care.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing that's so crazy is, there was a funny meme going around. It's like, girl, it's okay to disagree. It's like, yes, bitch, over pizza toppings, not racism. Right. Not hate, not inequality. We can agree what we have on our pizza, or disagree on that. But bitch, we are not going to make concessions for being a good human.
Absolutely not. And if I see you like, oh yeah, no, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. All right.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. You're doing some behind the scenes work right now. Now.
Well, that's actually a beautiful segue. Let's get right into the show. We have so much to do, but before that, let's do not that one. Nope. Let's do shout outs. So I'll start. My shout out for the week is actually Tana Mojo. Tanagram. I don't know what Tana Mojo did this week, or if someone shared one of our podcasts, but an old podcast, episode 30, where we covered TanaCon, like blew up this week. We had like a couple hundred views on the episode, which was really funny.
Weird.
So hopefully we weren't being dragged anywhere, but
please don't drag us. Please.
No, but even hey, listen, like or dislike, it's engagement, folks.
Amen.
But yeah, thanks to Tana. Tana, I'm sure you listen to this podcast now that we see all the viewership coming from your side of things.
You know what? Go ahead and come on the podcast. Why not? Let's clear your name, whatever you're doing. Hopefully you're not like a racist or a pedophile.
Yep. Or we find out about it, 2 years from now.
Right.
Things like this.
Right. So your name, call us.
That's right. Well, that was my shout out, girl. Do you have any shout outs for the week?
I want to give a shout out to our mutual good Judy, Sam. She's back on YouTube.
Yes, mama. Yes. Snap, crackle, pop. That's right. And actually, what she talked about in her YouTube video is actually going to be something that we're going to hit on this week as well. She kind of talked about some of her favorite YouTubers along with creating in a pandemic. So we're going to kind of get into that a little bit. But yeah, shout out to our girl, Sam.
I do have one more shout out.
Yes, Queen, who it is?
To anyone who's already voted, even if it's not the same candidate as mine, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you doing your duty as an American. So, America.
That is correct. Yes, fortunately and unfortunately, we all have the right to vote for our favorite candidate. And again,
Yes.
I implore you to vote regardless who that is. Obviously, we are siding with a certain side. There's many obvious reasons, and hope you do the same. Really know that our rights and our democracy is at stake this year. So just get out there and vote, my friends.
Please,
Vote, vote,
please,
vote.
please, please,
Thank you,
please.
audience. The audience
Thank
is crazy today.
you.
So that brings us into today's kind of topic. So we're talking about creating in a pandemic. And L.Piddy, you've been doing some pretty crazy cool things.
Yeah.
And innovative, right? For something you've been doing all these years, which is a really traditional thing. The listeners, right? You guys know that L.Piddy has a long history of pageants, not only winning, coaching, directing, whole bunch of stuff in the scene. So talk to us a little bit about how you're creating in this pandemic.
So, just for some background, I mean, I started directing and owning my own pageant. It was an online pageant, so I did have that like virtual background. But this year, for our big pageant that I direct, I'm a national director for, we had to do it 100% online virtual just because of COVID. So, we here's what's happening right now. We're wrapping up our finale like right now. Like it's the video that I had to create is uploading right now, so it'll be up in like 28 minutes.
It's she's pointing to the Nokia.
It-
It's on the Nokia right of it. It's uploading on the Nokia right now.
right now.
And actually, forgive me, L.Piddy. You're actually you're spot on. I didn't actually correlate Bright Futures, the pageant you've been having for
Mhm.
years, with the pageant you're doing now. But you're right. There's a lot of that virtual stuff and background you already had. But this pageant was more traditional that you had to move to a virtual event, right?
Exactly. Plus, it's a beast of a pageant, even on stage. So, I mean, because
Beast.
because you've even judged for it too.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, judging a pageant is something extreme.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this one we have like multiple titles, a bunch of optionals, like supreme titles, a high point title, um, and it's rough. So my head hurts, but I'm just happy that it's done. I'm happy that I got to like step outside the box, use a green screen finally. Yeah, I'm just
Why
glad
gotta be
it's
green?
got me green though.
Why
Why
gotta be
can't
green though?
it gonna be something
Girl,
else? It
green
can't,
screens fascinate me if I'm honest with you.
right? Aren't they
Hmm.
fun though? Yeah,
They're so
like
fun. I remember that game eons ago, Whose Line Is It Any, when they would have like the green screen and they'd have to justify what was behind them, but they had no idea
yes.
what it was.
Yes,
I just thought that was a ball.
loved that. Loved it. But
So
go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
no, I was just saying.
Ooh.
So you're doing this whole thing virtual. So like, yeah. So not hosted. Excuse me. I've judged the pageant. You've hosted it, directed it, and so it's kind of an onstage pageant. The traditional walk, the T walk. Is it the T walk, gal?
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The Mr.
That's
T
our,
walk.
you got
Is
the
when all
easy
the
and the T walk. So T walk is our stage pattern that we use. So yeah.
Garrett, that's right. It's the shape of a T,
Yeah.
which you can learn so much more about pageants and things like that. Actually, at the L.Piddy collection, where L.Piddy
Mhm.
does consulting and coaching.
Yes. So I am going on to. I'm so glad you said that because that's what I was going to say. So see, look at us. Look at us.
Bitch, look at that transition. The
So
audience
I'm.
is going crazy.
I know. Thank you,
Guys,
audience.
calm down. I know you guys are glad we're back, but whew.
Ooh, oh Jesus. So I am working on finally starting that business. So I am still trying to get my website up. I don't know what I did, but I did something weird to the point where my website is being hosted by Google, and and I'm like,
Oh, thank you, Google.
yeah. So, but I don't want that. So I don't know. But I need to still add in like my services and all that stuff. So I'm just like really like getting the bare bones of my business going, and then just learning about business all over again. So that's what I'm trying to use my time. I'm just thinking about something crazy right now. That's what I'm using my time finally, hopefully after this, to do creating wise during COVID. So here's a funny story.
Ooh, tell us, gal.
So my unofficial sister, but she's my sister anyway, Jessica.
Love
So
her.
yes. So back in 2019, we had a sleepover, and we have a fascination with like tarot cards. So we were like
Mm-hmm.
doing like tarot readings and stuff like that. And I remember I asked, "Am I going to start my business in 2020?" And the answer was no. And now that I think about it, It's because of COVID.
Yes, gal, that's crazy.
So, oh, oh,
Ooh. It is
oh.
funny how things like where you think it's the end, it's really not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have a really similar situation that recently happened to me. That's kind of on the same lines of that. We had talked about reality television show that I was
Mhm.
very close contender on, and I was with some executives with the network, and it didn't happen, right? And so like that's
Yeah.
really crushing. You're like, God dang it! Like, why is this occurring? But turns out, I received some more communication, and the thing that I was going to be doing isn't happening right now. It's actually on hold. So,
Oh,
there's some encouragement for another show and things like that. So my point is, it doesn't always happen the way we think it's going to happen, right? Like, because in
exactly.
your head, you're like, girl, I'm starting this business in 2020. That tarot card's wrong as hell.
Right.
But no, girl, it's like
No, it ain't.
this, like we've all talked about. This is the reset year. It's like
Right. You're wrong. And let me show you
that's
why.
and let me prove it. COVID. Yeah, COVID's wild, gal. Not to. Did you get COVID this at all? Have you had symptoms? Have you
So there was a time beginning of December. I
December?
I'm pretty sure I had it. That was when
You're.
I had an upper respiratory infection. I've never had
Mm-hmm.
one. Keep in mind I have rhinitis, so you would think I would, have more stuff, but no, I've never had an upper respiratory infection. But
Wow.
yeah, so I was breathing. It was hard to breathe, like going upstairs. Like I always live on the third floor because bugs and creepy crawlies can't get you that way. So
That's true. Mm-hmm.
so I was good at my stairs. I'm used to these stairs, and I would have to like pause in between before I go up the stairs, which was a little alarming. Then I would get into my apartment, and then I would have to like sit, like just breathing, trying to catch my breath for like 5 minutes. So I just have a feeling that that was it because I did not feel the best. So
Girl, yes. No, see, and same thing on this end. I've gotten 3 tests. I've been around people who have been exposed and things like that. Every test I've gotten has come back negative since. And I honestly think, I mean, there's some antibodies that had to have been built up. I do know that you can get it again if you do get it. There's a likelihood of receiving it. But again, I just think the likelihood of me getting it, I just think it's interesting. So on paper, no, I haven't, but I think you and I are kind of a lot of people same page. A lot of people think they've
yeah,
had it. You talk to a lot of people, and if you just think about the sheer odds, girl, it didn't just show up March 16th, right?
right,
It's been
exactly.
lurking. So, girl,
Hmm.
we were at Disney in October, shoulder to
Hmm.
shoulder with people. Universal, you and I have been traveling. We've been around people, work, etc. So, girl, there's no saying people couldn't have had it at Halloween last year or
Right.
Christmas. Like, it's just wild.
It's super wild, and it's just super weird to like look back at that time too to be like, oh, remember when we were complaining about 2019, and now look at us.
Yes. Isn't that wild? Yeah. And actually, I'm so grateful you and I got to do our live show this year, right? Because
Hmm.
now it's nearly impossible.
Right.
Of course, we could do something with social distancing, but it's really cool that we got to do our first live show for the Grammys.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got a chance to also, I got to help with the, what was it, the Oscar show? Yeah.
Yeah, we also hosted an Oscar show.
Okay.
That podcast and the Queerbots did that together.
Yeah. So it's so weird that like we did that this year. It feels like eons ago. And
Literally.
like,
Yep.
and like our whole, like our world is just different now. Like everything is completely different.
Sorry, I had to get comfy, but no, you're exactly right. Or you think about like when we had that huge Pride show for Lip Sync for Your Laugh. When
Yeah.
there's 5,000 people packed in tracks for our show and the drag show afterwards. That's crazy to me. To fathom that now, I just think is almost impossible.
So my struggle now is not so much TV. I think it's more so like YouTube, like watching old YouTube videos, and I'm like, why are they so close? Oh my gosh, they're so. I'm like, oh, this was pre-COVID. This is
Oh
the.
yes. Hmm.
I'm just like in the back of my head, like, oh gosh, this is the new normal in my brain for some reason. So
It is. It totally takes an effect on everything we've known. And speaking of, even the airports, we're crazy busy. Of
mhm.
course, I social distance and things like that for a recent trip that I had to take. But girl, the airport was scary.
I'm trying to think because I had to fly down here to get my apartment, and it wasn't too bad. actually, let me backtrack. Busy wise, it wasn't busy. So,
Oh,
but
okay, that's
like
huge.
like DIA was just a whole beast because I like looked beforehand. I'm like, oh yeah, Pikes Peak is open. Cool, I'll just park there. Pikes Peak wasn't open. I had to go park in the economy lot, I think, like the outdoor lot where they come pick you up and stuff like that. Plus, you have your mask on. Um, it was definitely daunting because it was like a whole different thing that I wasn't planning, and someone with OCD has to like figure out how to handle that. So doing that and then finding like, hey, how do I get into the airport? Because I have no idea where I'm at now. So I like me and this other dude like walked into the hotel that's there. And
Yeah,
we
that
were like,
Weston. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're like sitting there like, this is wrong. Then we saw like a flight attendant or a pilot or whatever like walk that way, so we just followed her. We're like,
Yeah, that way.
yeah. And then we get in, we're like, oh, know exactly where we're at. So did that, and then obviously like just standing in line was fine. Like there wasn't really. Oh no, I went through. You know how is it A terminal where like
Uh-huh.
Frontier stuff is? So
Like up the hill.
up the
Mm-hmm.
hill. So I did that way this time around, and
Mm.
it wasn't too bad. So like the only thing was that like when they're checking your IDs, which you probably had to do as well, you had to take off your mask and like show them that it was you, and then put your mask.
Mm-hmm.
So I like backed up. I'm like, here I am. Hi. But like flying to Colorado from here, um, it was okay. Like it was really not busy at all, and like most of their stores were closed. Like I
Oh,
wanted to get a
good.
bagel, couldn't get a bagel.
Oh, girl, no bagel for you.
Was open, so I got me. Did I get a nice chai tea or did I get a white mocha? I got one of the two because I was just
Yeah, like, I needed some caffeine. It
right.
is
So
crazy to see how different it was when we first started the quarantine. Like,
hmm,
girl, we shut shit down, and good. I think there's safety measures that had to have happened, right? But girl,
exactly,
remember
absolutely,
when everything was down except for 7-Eleven? You're like,
this is
eh,
weird.
we-
Right.
eh.
What did
Yep.
I do? Side note, I heard that Colorado has started shutting down again because you guys had a spike in cases. Is that correct?
This is what I'm hearing. Yes. So Colorado now has mandated masks all places, including outdoors, which is a really interesting thing. It is specific to Denver as well for the outdoor mandate, but Polis has also mentioned it. Our governor. It's really crazy because yeah, to your point, the cases have spiked, and there's other places around the country that have spiked, and I think it's again. I think we're just getting used to the new normal, and I think people are getting a little antsy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I thrive in this quarantine, but even I'm getting a little antsy. Like, girl, I want to do
Same.
something. But
I mean, I think I got my antsiness out just because I moved to a different state.
yeah, there is
So,
that
right.
during a pandemic.
During a pandemic, which one day I'll release that footage, I promise. I'm actually looking at the footage, like my folders on my computer screen right now. My Nokia computer
Her
screen.
computer, yeah, exactly. The green and gray computer screen she's looking
Yeah.
at.
It's
Girl, to go on the phone topic for a second, you know what my jam was? So I had that little razor, right? But before I had the razor, I had the little blue one that was more bubbly looking, the Motorola. Had a little antenna. Sorry, I don't have a box of electronics next to me. And bitch, if you pull out my old phone, I'm gonna throw the
no.
one.
Well, hold on. I got two that I might have.
God, that's hilarious. I also, while you searched, my favorite phone of all time was my Orange Palm Trio
Yes.
with the type. Oh my God, that was my jam with the touch screen with the stylus. That
I
was
didn't have
my
a
shit.
stylus, but I had which one was this? So I had this palm,
Yep, yep,
and then
yep.
you slide it up, and there was a keyboard.
Oh, see, those I didn't love as much, but
Yeah,
those
mine
are pretty
didn't love
sweet.
anything. I almost thought about like turning it back on and see if Sprint can do that, but I know they can't because money. Here's the phones I was talking about. You said Motorola, so I know these are not it. So these are both LGs. So let me tell you. So this was like my sophomore year of college phone, and what was cool is like you have this little screen, but wait, there's more.
Oh wow! So for those of you who are listening on audio, L.Piddy just pulled out an LG, and
Yeah.
it's probably like 3 inches, and then she kind of moved it up, and the screen got bigger.
Yes. Like
Very
see, I
cool,
use phones like this because you could fit them in your pocket.
girl. But Apple's kind of doing the same. The new Apple iPhone 12 really looks like the old mini Apples that they came out with, the initial iPhones. So again, I think that's part of the problem, girl. Like we got to be able to put stuff in our pockets,
Right.
you know. And I also think the need for a giant phone almost is less when you're at home all the time, right? Because we have all of our devices with us. I don't need a giant phone, you
There's
know.
been so many times where I've been like, I should get a Samsung Note because to write notes. I don't need it. Like the computer that I'm on right now is a Surface Pro. I can use that to write notes. Like
That's right. It is funny because there's like because I'm with you, girl. You and I got all the gadgets, and you got all the gadgets from the last 25 years next to you. So, so we is good. That's hilarious.
Lie to it though, as I'm
Nope.
looking at my pile of cables now, but we'll clean that up later. It's fine.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so creating, you've been so you're doing this pageant, this virtual pageant that's going to go live right this evening. It sounds like
13 minutes from now.
In 13 minutes from now. Yeah. So how has that been? How has that been, especially like because you're the director, right? So there's other people on staff, the board. How do you wrangle the people like other than like how you used to do it traditionally?
So we would commit to like having monthly meetings. So that was good actually. And then we would like talk about ideas. We actually had we did a lot more virtually versus in person. So we were able to do like more workshops, which you actually did during our pageant week.
Yes.
Which thank you for that.
Of
and we
course.
also did more photo contests, which we did like a finale Miss Photogenic, which will be announced here in 13 minutes as well.
Girl, that's so exciting.
I'm trying not to like give away answers or like, who wins and stuff like that, even though this is going to be out tomorrow, but still.
That's right. Yeah. Can't just expose it all. That's right. Happy October 26th, everyone.
Yeah.
Labor Day in New Zealand.
I was like,
no, you're wrong. But apparently in New Zealand, that's when they celebrate it.
I love it.
We love that. The one thing that we have to hit on, like we haven't talked about this gal in a hot minute.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and play it.
Yes. So we haven't talked RuPaul in a hot minute.
Haven't. What did you talk about RuPaul?
Girl, so we yesterday got to experience, so speaking of social distancing, we got to experience our first live event. And actually, I haven't seen my friend Chris and his partner Luis since the start of the pandemic. And we were able to go to a drag drive-in show. And so it was in a parking lot out in Denver. If you guys are familiar, it's an area called Park Meadows. They overtook the parking lot, put some screens up. The queens told a story, this haunted Halloween story. Performances by Asia, Aquaria, Evie Oddly, Vanjie, just a grip of amazing queens. Kim Chi. It was a really great experience. Like I said, it was really cool to get out and experience drag again, more immersive instead of watching it on video,
Right.
Of course, it certainly wasn't the same like when we were in the clubs back in the day next to one another and this, that, and the other, but it still was a really solid experience. And I think if people want to experience and still want to get out with their friends or their households that they've safely been quarantining with, I think this is a way to do it. I think it's really innovative. I think there's certainly some opportunities, because I think that's definitely what's happening with all these virtual events, right? Like, we're putting them up, but I think there's a lot of growing pains with them, and that's okay. I had a virtual show at the start of the pandemic, which is nothing like I would want to produce it. But again, it's like growing pains, gal.
So my question is, like, because I mean, with drag, you want to tip the queens. That's
Yes.
how they make some of their money too. Like, do they just like flash their Cash App or Venmo usernames and then like have people pay them?
Yeah, they actually made it really easy. So it was produced by a company called Voss Events.
Okay.
So Voss Events had their Venmo up on the giant screen. So it was like a movie drive-in. There was 2 giant screens and a stage in the center. And of course, you were to stay in your car or surrounding your car. And yeah, they had the Venmo for that, and you were just supposed to put the queen's name, and that went to the queen. So it's very easy, very, very like virtual. And so yeah, people were able to tip just from their phone.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was what I thought was the most funny and unique, because I've never even thought about this, but was when people really loved a performance, people would honk their horns, right? Which makes total sense, right? Because you're trying to like You know, it's like that family at graduation who use the air horn, right? They're like, boo, 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 boo.
I grew up in the area close to Park Meadows, and I'm just thinking about all the neighbors there who was like, all these people are honking. Why is there all this noise? All the complaints coming out and stuff like that. Like that's all I could think of. So
Yeah, they did it right in front of the Nordstrom over there, which is
Ooh,
so hilarious. Like,
that's hilarious.
it's like such a bizarre place to have it, but it makes sense because there's space, right?
So J.C. Penney, and they have that like the
Yep.
ramp to like drive up.
Yes.
We one time had a cheer competition on that. That was kind of horrifying because you could feel it shake when you're doing like your
Oh,
tumbling.
yeah.
Yeah, like, and then you're like kind of on an angle too. So,
No, ma'am. No,
Yeah.
ma'am. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, I thought they did a really nice job on the show. It was very cold in Colorado, so that was the only other thing that was not great.
Yeah.
But we stand drag queens, and of course we support no matter how good or exceptional, etc. the show was. So yeah, no, but I thought it was a great way to get out and spend some time with some friends, and yeah, see some queens live again, and hear some music.
Right, exactly. Like, I would think if I were to go to that, I'd be like, how do I act? I don't remember. I don't know what to do. I need an adult.
Yep, that's so true. I feel like I'm pussyfooting around the subject, but I feel like the show was good, but it could have been better. Like, I don't want to like bullshit, right? Like, it was a really good show, but I really think there were some improvements it needed. But like I said, I enjoyed myself. Mm-hmm.
Even with it being like a drive-through one, like, yeah.
Yeah, so some things that were kind of a bit of a pain was getting in and out. The parking situation was kind of crazy. We had VIP, thank God, but that was still like 3 rows back. And yeah, they had, girl, this is the only thing that I think they needed: more food trucks. They had one food truck, and they were serving cod.
That's it?
That's it, gal. So, and
well,
beyond,
I would like. I wouldn't have a food truck because COVID, and that just promotes like, hey, make sure you're social distancing, but come get your food.
girl,
and then,
yes.
Why would you have cod? Why wouldn't you have like normal? I don't know. Sorry, normal drive-through foods like popcorn or like hamburgers.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's a great idea. Girl, I thought for sure they would have like turkey legs. I'm like, this is a surefire thing. Any event outdoors, in my opinion, should have those giant fucking turkey legs.
And churros.
And churros, yes. That's funny. I would share with my friends because everyone I went with, including my spouse, are more skinny mini than me. They look cute eating that giant turkey leg. I look like I just ripped off a toddler's leg and I'm eating it walking around the park. So it ain't cute, gal.
It's funny because I'm the same way.
Right. And I look like a fucking Viking. Like, it's something else. So.
I know, and I'm like trying to be all cute too, like with two of my hands, but I'm just like, Like, I would love a turkey leg right now.
Girl, or I thought a gyro would be around. I don't know how none of these things. Girl,
right.
I told you my idea. That's what I'm saying. Especially when I know the food court is like literally 500 feet away from me. I'm like, girl, you get some Renzios up in there, some Chipotle, some Panda Express,
Missed
some
out
cheesesteak.
on an opportunity to make money, Park Meadows.
For real. But hey, what you gonna do?
Right.
So yeah, of course, my complaint would be the food, but I do think
God.
I thought it was an interesting choice. It was and we bought the cod, and it was not great. I don't want to dog the company, because
I knew that.
Yeah, it was something else. Yeah, it was interesting, and then they had a merch tent and all that stuff. So overall, like I said, I think it's a cool way to get out and experience it. But I think the show, and again, you have to keep in mind, L.Piddy and I have been producing shows for 10, 12 years. So we can kind of look at it and be like, girl, why is that person not in the place? Why is that guy there? Why is that gal here? So I think there's some improvement. But I think to the general public, the Muggles, I thought it was a great show. The
Muggles.
The Muggles. Because I do, you and I don't look at a show the same way like the general public.
No,
So it's kind of funny. But yeah, no, I thought it was a great experience overall,
I'm writing down our hashtags, and I just wrote down COD.
Hashtag COD. Hopefully a lot of Call of Duty people tune into this podcast as a result.
That's what I was thinking too.
We're gonna have fish fanatics and our Call of Duty folks. For
Right.
those of you joining us, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. They're like, oop, this is not where I parked my car.
Right, exactly. Let me back on out. Just kidding, I'm stuck.
Beep, beep, beep. Girl, that was the other thing is if you wanted to leave midway through a show, you couldn't, girl. The cars were row to row,
Right.
so there was no getting out.
Like how do you
Um,
organize like everybody leaving at the same time? Then like, okay, row one, here we go. Like it's almost like a funeral
let me tell you, they didn't.
wedding.
It was the show is over. Literally, I thought for sure there'd be someone like first exiting row one, like on United, right? Like, row one, please leave now. Then row two. Oh no, gal, it was like, yeah, it was yeah, Fast and Furious 9 over here. Fast and Furious 9, Park Meadows.
Right. Just everybody just posing like all cool.
Yeah, exactly. What a mess! I love it.
Kindness.
But yeah, no, overall, but I think you're right, girl. Creating in the pandemic, that's why you can tell I'm being pretty kind about my feedback because I know it's tough. Like we're trying, people are trying, they're trying to get stuff out there and content. And at the end of the day, no matter what feedback I have, I'm grateful and think it's awesome.
Exactly. So they're doing their best in their situation, and it's much appreciated. How about that?
Her dad, yes, absolutely, and it is. It's so refreshing to see drag queens, especially for our podcast, especially. It's nice to talk about it too because it's been such a staple for us.
Mhm.
It's granted us some really cool opportunities with the pod too. So
Exactly. I miss
this,
that time.
oh my god, we got, and that's the other thing. We've talked about that too. That's going to be a totally different world now too.
That's so weird to me. I don't know.
I don't even know if meet and greets would be a thing at even like Comic Cons, like
Right,
or
exactly. It's just weird.
girl, I should have bought some stock in plexiglass. Let me tell you what. Girl, because
Hand sanitizer.
that's right. But these plexiglass people, I'm like, because they got that shit everywhere, good or not. Like you go to the bank, they got like fucking plexiglass hanging from some yarn. You're like,
so I vowed to myself after I was done with the whole boot life and my broken foot that I would go into my favorite poke place and actually order in person. And so actually one of my judges and now former coworker, he was like, when you go in there, you're going to be like, oh, this looks like Dexter. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go in and like everything is just one big like plastic sheet.
oh no. They're like,
Right.
hello. Peeking through the blinds, peeking through the curtains.
Like,
Oh dear.
you want brown rice? Yeah. What? Huh?
Huh? That
Yeah.
is wild. No, that's gonna be weird, because I kind of imagine like meet and greets would be like that, like behind either like a curtain or partition, or like behind plexiglass.
Right. But then you can't like hug your favorite person though. Which I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean that could be safer too, because there's some crazy people out there. So.
that is true. It is weird though. There's so much affection that does go like natural, like handshaking. I'm a big fist bumper. I love a good fist bump, y'all. Hugs, things like that. I don't know. It is going to be a very weird life now. I got to tell you. I don't know where I'm going with this, gal, but it's real strange.
It's super strange, but I mean, eventually we'll get out of this. I mean, I don't feel like it's going to be anytime soon, but you know what? We have been training for this. That's why we are the best at quarantining, and that's probably why we don't have it. But yeah.
Truly and utterly. Yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. What's one thing that like, we were talking about this. What's one thing that you really miss about normal life out of quarantine?
Traveling, like flying, because I mean, like the big thing I was planning when I was planning on moving out here was like flying back and forth to Colorado, like plenty of times. It's cheaper, but one, I couldn't do that because I broke my foot, so I'm still paying medical bills.
Girl, that's wild.
Right, and two, it's COVID. Like it's just a roller coaster. It could be good one day, it could be bad another day. So you just want to make sure that you're being safe and stuff like that. So I miss flying. I think that's a big thing. And then I could still go and explore, but like not everything's open too. Like just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally. No, I'm kind of in the same boat, gal. Like for me, I'm a homebody. I love being home anyway. I don't think that's a secret. but I miss having the choice to leave. You know,
Right.
I miss having the choice to go have dinner, go see a movie. For me, it's live comedy. You know, it's really weird for me not performing live comedy and not seeing live comedy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, it's just a choice. You know, just to be like, I can just go do that. You know, but we
Exactly.
are socially responsible. Want to make sure that we're safe, and so of course we're not doing those things. You know,
Yeah.
um, which I don't think is a bad thing, but it does take a toll on your human mind.
Exactly. All up in this. So,
I am
but
human.
I am human.
I am human, everybody. I am not human.
Powers down.
I am human.
So, for those of you listening, especially those of you on YouTube who are watching us, make sure you comment down below. What do you do? Like, how are you creating in COVID? Like,
That's right.
share your thoughts and secrets and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and on the flip side, if you're not doing the actual creating, what kind of creations have you been watching or seeing or you think are innovative for sure too? We want to know, so comment down below.
Yes, we want to know. Comment down
Down
below.
below, hey, hey. And of course, if you guys are listening on Apple devices, if you guys could please rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts, it definitely helps podcasts like ours. So please do that.
Yeah.
Y'all know we on SoundCloud, Google, now
Spotify.
Amazon,
Oh, are we on there?
Spotify,
We're
on
on
the
there officially.
Amazon podcast.
I'll double check on Amazon. I don't know if we got a confirmation or not, because if we did, I missed it. Oops.
Oh, girl. So we might be on Amazon.
We might be. I submitted us, so I just have not heard back yet. But we may have heard back, and I'm just a little
Girl, me confirming was an assumption.
Yeah, I was
So
like,
I have no idea if there was an email that happened.
I thought we were like monitoring, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's great, but oh shit.
No, I did not see nothing neither. L.Piddy, tell everyone where they can find you all over social media.
You can find me at L.Piddy, and then how about you, Jon Jon?
Girl, you can find me all over social media at Jon Jon Lannon. That's JONJONLANN. And of course, you guys can engage in the conversation with hashtag that podcast all over social media. That's right. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all over social media. My name is Jon Jon,
I'm L.Piddy.
and this is hashtag that
What my shirt says. There you go.
That's right. We're hashtag that podcast. Until next time, bye.